deeper into the day, and we've got just 2 talks remaining. My next guest up is a transformative lead, and they are here to talk about the DevOps pipeline. It's my pleasure to introduce Jorge Luis Castro Toribio, who will be with you for about the next 40 minutes. What I want to remind you of as we get into this, though, I see you guys. I know you've been asking a few questions. Sometimes you haven't been using that Q&A tab. Make sure you tap them in there, because at the end of the session, I will relay all of them to Jorge. But now, the stage.
Hi. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Thank you very much for the introduction. My name is Jorge Castro. I'm very happy to be part of the event. I think that it's awesome when we have these kind of events when we have the chance to share knowledge and share what we love, right? Technology, DevOps, and so forth. So thank you very much for the invitation. The name of my talk today is I'm going to share with you a game. Basically, this is a game that we designed and we implemented for helping the enterprises to build these new practices of DevOps, the culture and the mindset. So we are going to share with you what this game is about. The name of this game is Delivery Pipeline DevOps Outcome Game. The idea is that this game help us to learning lean, continuous delivery, and DevOps practices mindset through games and agile. So yeah, that's the idea. We are going to share with you the game, the rules, and so forth in this presentation. Okay, let's continue then. Again, this is my personal information. I work as a transformation lead, so please, my main focus are in DevOps, testing, and agility. You can see here my contact information. So please, if you want to add me to your LinkedIn accounts or you want to contact me, it would be awesome. I strongly believe in the idea to share knowledge, to build communities. So it would be great if we can keep in touch after this conversation. Okay. Well, okay. As I mentioned in this talk, we share a game-based approach to software product development to enhance DevOps and development practices, and build alignment and common understanding about what doing DevOps and agile ways of working demands oriented to improve business and flow. I think that is quite important because, at least in my experience, when I had the chance to work with different enterprises to transform the way that they are delivering software using agile, DevOps, ways of working, and so forth. A very important challenge is the ways of working, right? How the engineers are ready to change the way that they develop software, testing, development, design, architecture, and so forth. At the end, DevOps is about practices. It's about um, trying to learn new skills and also new ways of doing things. So this game, the game that we are going to show today with you, can help you to do that, right? That's the idea. Okay. First of all, I think thank you very much for being part of this session. A smile is the universal welcome. So thank you very much for being here. I hope you can enjoy this talk. Basically, I'm going to share with you what we do with our clients in my company. By the way, I think I forgot to mention that I work for Entity Data, which is a Japanese company. I work in the IT services area. Um, yes, I think that is quite important. A smile is the universe welcome. So, welcome. Thank you for being here. Okay, I would like to introduce. I would like to introduce. I would like to share with you this Miro. I think we are not going to run this Miro right now, but I'm going to. Please take note of this Miro. I would like to maybe get some information from you about your experience in DevOps, your experience in gamification. Um, what is the value that you consider that you can add to your companies in terms of DevOps, right? We are not going to check this Menti right now, but just please, you know, please take note of this information, because maybe after this session, I would like to have your feedback about these ideas, right? And also I recommend you that, right, to you, if you are going to run this game with your clients, so you want to reproduce the game that I'm going to show with you in some minutes. I recommend you, first of all, to try to get some information about your audience, right? In this Menti, basically I wrote three questions. Number one, what is DevOps? A general question, okay, for you, so people can respond the question, right? What is DevOps? What DevOps means for me? And I think this is important, because remember that in the DevOps culture, we need to take care of the end to end, right, of the flow. And as you know, in the flow of software delivery, um, we have different actors, right? Different people, different roles. We have people from business, people from ops, from operations, people from development, from databases, and so forth. So I think this question is quite important, right? What DevOps is regarding your experience. The second question is about what is the value that you think DevOps add to your company. And I think also that is a good question, because maybe in some scenarios, the answer from a people from business could be different from a people from operations and people from development. So I think that is a question that is quite important as well. And the third question is, it could be the number of years of experience that you have in DevOps, right? Maybe there are people with 1 year of experience, with 0 year of experience, and maybe you have people with a lot of experience. So I recommend you to run this Menti with your teams if you want to run the workshop, or maybe if you want to do whatever workshop about DevOps that you want to do in your company. And I think those three questions can be very useful to get some information about the audience. I'm not going to run this Menti today, because we are not going to run the workshop right now. Basically, because of, we are in a virtual mode. Basically, this workshop was designed to run in a face-to-face event, right, with people in place. So, but basically, that is a first recommendation about running a game with your teams. Okay, about the purpose of this game, right? Why we designed this game? I think that is quite important as well, because at the end is the reason, right? Um, is because of this. Nowadays enterprises faces this kind of challenges, right? Speed, I think, more and more because of automation, artificial intelligence, and so forth. We need to take care of the speed. What is our flow time, right? How many days, how many hours we are taking to put our product in production, delivering value to our customers. So I think there's a challenge. Also, cost reduction, right? With all these fine ops movement wave, we need to take care of cost reduction. We need to automate more and try to be more efficient in terms of budget and so forth. So that is something quite important. Quality, well, I think quality is a kind of key concept, key characteristic that any kind of product should have, right? So yeah, I think quality is also quite important. A challenge that nowadays that we have, especially because of speed, right? Okay, then also innovation. I think also is a challenge. We need to take care of how we are developing software. What is the impact of our products, and more important, review if our products are are that we check if our products are delivering value to our customer, are also impacting the ways that they do things, right? I think innovation here is quite important, because we need to implement feedback loops, maybe innovation programs, or basically get information about the quality, the how value are our products for our clients as well. Finally, consistency, right? Because we can implement a lot of things, right? We can implement tooling, we can implement automation, we can improve velocity, speed, time flow time. We can improve our throughput as well, but if we are not consistency about that in our end to end, in our software development lifecycle process, maybe this is going to be a kind of victory of one day, right? Instead of having this process mature along the time, you know. So those are challenges that we have. So that is why we create this game, right? To support this, to try to help this. And also, yeah, I think that is something that is quite familiar to you if you have experience in DevOps. But is this problem of the wall of confusion, right? These two sides of the same picture, right? The picture is the software delivery cycle, the flow time, the flow that we have to deliver software. The two sides are the development side and also the operation side, right? And I'm talking about this because, at least in my experience, this is something that is still happening in some companies, right? This wall of confusion, and it's a challenge. It's a real challenge when you want to transform your ways of working using DevOps. So yeah, so in one side you have the local objectives, deliver new functionalities. You want to deliver more and more and more, and in the other end you want to rationalize more and more and more, right? You want to look for stability, and in the other side you want to deliver stuff, right, to your clients. So I think that is the word of confusion, and that happened because we those both sides don't share a common goal, right? And also they don't share the same idea about what is DevOps, what is the value of DevOps, and why DevOps is useful to improve flow, right? Or helps to maintain continuous delivery. So yeah, also this is one reason about the game, right? We attack this problem with the game. About this situation, this I like this DevOps concept, DevOps idea, that I took from the Phoenix project. I recommend you this book. I think this is one of the best definition of DevOps in the market. DevOps is a union of people, process, and products to enable continuous delivery of value to our end users. Right, that's right. It emphasizes improving the flow of work from development to operations, reducing lead times, and increasing the reliability of releases. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And actually, this definition help us out to design our game. So you are going to see in some moments. But yeah, we took this definition to design and drive our workshop and also our game. And about flow, which is something quite important, right? Um, I, hopefully you can see this video. And please check the video. And I think, in my experience, this is one of the best ways to understand flow, right? Flow outside IT. Of course, this is not software development process, right? But I think this video about flow is quite interesting, right? What you can see the video is this group of kids playing with this football ball, right? With this soccer ball. As you can see here, each of them are share the same goal, which is put the ball into this bucket, right? And all of them are working together. All of them has some responsibility about this same goal, for same and shared goal. In my opinion, this is a good example of flow, right? People working together, sharing the same goal, helping the goal with their skills, right? Being part of the process in the best way that they can, right? I think that is a good example of flow. I like this. Um, um, as about this, well, about the problem, well, we talk about the problem, we talk about what is DevOps and how DevOps helps with this problem. I also some input that we took from the DevOps status right now in the market is this, that DORA report, right? This is the last information that we have about the DORA report. If you don't know what is DORA report, the DORA report is um, an assessment, a survey that Google does for for getting information about what is the maturity of DevOps practices of continuous delivery in some companies, right? There are some numbers that they get from the companies, and with that information, they can categorize the companies in some performance levels with some characteristics, right? As you can see here in this last report from the previous year, you can see here that most of the companies that took the survey, they are in the high and medium performance level, right? And only the 18% and the 17% are in the elite and low levels. Also, you can see here some metrics, some quite important indicators: development frequency, the change lead time, the change failure rate, and the failure deployment recovery time. There are a new one, which is the reliability, but it's not here in this data. But I think that this information is quite important. Number one, to to see what is the situation of your company using this deployment frequency, change lead time, change failure rates, and failure deployment recovery time. It's quite important. Analyze your company using these kind of indicators, right? Using that information, you can see if you are an elite company or maybe you are a low company. And if you are in the low company level, I think this is something that can help you to prepare some improvement plans, right? Depending of your business goals. More or less, you need to most probably use DevOps for that, right? And finally, I think a good message about this slide, of course, a good message that I like to highlight is about the Nathan Harvey. Nathan Harvey is one of the developers, advocates, and leaders of DORA at Google Cloud. He said that without a healthy culture, none of this matters, right? I think I totally agree with him. We need to take care of people, and actually that is why we create this game, because we consider that gamification is a good approach to teach people to build new ways of working, to change behaviors, right? I think it's a good way in terms of make these kind of transformation programs more comfortable, more engaged, and also more funny for people, right? So yeah. Okay. I recommend you also this book. We took a lot of things from this book, and I strongly believe about what Carr said about gamification and games. I think simulations and gamification are the future of education. And in my experience, I consider our jobs, our companies, as a place to learn and practice, right? As a kind of experimental learning laboratories, right? I think our works should be do that, right? These should be places where we can learn stuff, put it into practice, learn about what we do, and try new stuff, right? I agree with that, and that is why we use gamification, because we gamification and simulation, because we consider that this is a good approach to improve this kind of experimentation in the companies. Yeah, so basically, yes, we believe in continuous fun, in learning by doing. So that is why we create this pipeline DevOps outcome game to try to simulate real software development scenarios, bottlenecks, lack of collaboration, poor quality, manual stuff, and so forth, delivered in gamified form to build DevOps ways of working and align team goals. Yeah, I think that is basically a summary of our game purpose and why we read this game and why our game is about. Well, now I'm going to explain you with more details what is the game about. Basically, as I mentioned, this DevOps pipeline game is a kind of simulation using gamification to simulate a product development flow. with different roles involved, right? Basically, in the game, we have the business role, the developer's role, the tester role, and the operation roles. Those are the main roles that we implement in the game, right? And we simulate, as I said before, we simulate the product development flow, right? From business to operations, basically, you can run this workshop with. In our case, I think the maximum amount of people that we run this workshop in situ, right, in place, right, with the people there in the same room working together, right, with 5 teams, right, more or less more than 50 people. But of course, you can adapt this to run with more people or less people, of course. Each team can have maybe 10 people, right, or playing the game in each team, right, 10 people more or less. Okay. We like to start the game before starting the game with this raise awareness, right? Basically, we ask those 2 questions to the audience, right? And remember, in the audience, you have people from business, people from development, from testing, people from operations as well. So we raise awareness with those questions. The first question is, how long would it take a team to deploy a change to a product, improvement, or maybe a maintenance or something like that, that involves just one line of code. And believe me, we got very interesting answers about this when we ask these questions. There are people that say that maybe they took 1 month, or they took 1 week, or 1 day. And actually, that is a reality in some of the companies that I had a chance to work with. And the second question is, would it do it in a reliable and reproducible way, right? How do you do in a reliable and reproducible way, right? This delivery, right? That is another question, because we noticed that, at least from business, from testing, and from operations, they don't feel trust, or they don't trust about the quality or reliability of some of the products, because of maybe because of the bugs that they got, or something similar, right? Yes. So I think those 2 questions are quite interesting, and you are going to cause a lot of debates about them, a lot of feedback about it. So I recommend you to ask those questions. Well, we took those questions from Mari and Tom Popendiek. Basically, they also recommend to ask those questions if you want to transform your development life cycle, to improve it. So I recommend you to follow them as well, and also their books, which are really interesting. Okay, basically the game plan. Basically, this game, we divided the game in 3 sprints. We ran 3 sprints. Each sprint can take maybe more or less 10 minutes, more or less, because we have some activities in each sprint. We have the planning, we have the sprint itself, right? The execution of the game. We have the retrospective. We have the taking notes of some data, right? And also the final review of the experience, right? Each sprint. So that is why I mentioned that maybe each sprint can take 10 minutes or maybe more, But basically, we divide the game into 3 sprints. The sprint number 1 is silos and manual activities everywhere. So basically, in this sprint, basically, we reproduce the current status, of the software development lifecycle, right? Which in some cases, in most of the cases, teams have a lot of silos, a lot of manual activities, right, for development, for testing, and so forth. So in this first sprint, we run the situation with a team. In the second sprint, culture of collaboration and more automation, is that we introduce some improvements, right? As I mentioned before, each sprint has a time for retrospective, right, and team agreements and sharing experiences, right, for all the team members about what we learn, what they do different. So in sprint 2, we apply the improvements, right, and we start with a culture of collaboration, and also to automate some stuff, right? This is quite important because in most of the cases, in almost all, when we run the game with the teams, right? In the first sprint, the first lesson learned or the first improvement that they want to implement is about collaboration, right? Collaboration between business, operations, development, and testers, and also improve communications. And your approach, your key improvement was automation, right? They noticed that manual activities are slow sometimes, and also that they need to uh, get speed, right, and automation. And sprint number three, the number of the sprint is flow and continuous delivery. And basically, in this sprint, we apply all the improvements to the simulation of software delivery life cycle, right? And we apply lean or automation or DevOps concepts like continuous feedback, like automation everywhere, and to deliver a one only pipeline, right? Um, yeah, each sprint has different points of view, different activities, and also each sprint is enriched by the improvements from taking from the previous one. Um, in the game, basically, what we are trying to do, team, is we reproduce, as I mentioned, a software delivery cycle, and we have roles in the team, right? A team can have a team can be formed by maybe 10 people, right? You can have 10 people in each team, and in the team you can have you can have people with the role of business, one from the business, people from development, development role, testers, and operation, right? And they all together are a team, and they need to work as we need to simulate the creation of software. Why we do this and how we do this, we are going to share it with some videos. Okay, this is the first sprint. The video is charging. 1 second, please. I'm going to hear this. Okay, in this video, you can see here the first sprint, and basically you can see here that each team is a queue, right? A queue of people. You can see here the beginning of the queue. In the beginning of the queue, you have the product owner or the business guy, right? Then you have the developers, maybe 3 or 4 developers. Then you can see the testers, maybe 2 or 3 testers, and at the end of the queue, at the end, right, you have the people from operations. Basically, they pass a ball, and this ball represents the product, the software being development. And also, you can see here that there are some stickers, right? Some stickers that some guys are putting in the ball, right? The stickers are for the business, are for testing, are for of operations. And basically, the challenge is that each people from that role, for example, people from business, for when he or she takes the ball, she needs to put the sticker on the ball, right? Maybe a sticker with a particular color, right? And the same action is doing by the people from testing with a sticker with another color, and also with the people from operations. This represents the manual stuff, right? This represents the silos, right? Each of them, the finger need to put the sign in the product development, from business, from testing, and from operations, right? That is why they put this sticker in the ball. Basically, all this manual, right? They are working together in a queue, in silos, and without any kind of communication, as you can see here. They are not talking about the process, but basically they are doing that, right? This is the first sprint, basically. Okay. As I mentioned, in the sprint, we have a planning, sprint retrospective, game data registration, because that's important. We took some metrics, flow metrics, like flow time, like throughput, and so forth, the velocity of the flow, the main bottlenecks, and the throughput, right? How many balls we do in the time, right? 5 minutes, 3 minutes, depending of your time. And at the end, also, we have some space where each team can share what is the main lessons or the main good stuff that they get from the first sprint. Okay, the second sprint, is something similar, but we implement some improvements in the game. In the second sprint, basically we share with the team members some big papers, right? And they need to build the pipeline, right? As you can see here, they are building a pipeline, right? Simulating a DevOps pipeline. But as you can see here, the pipeline is also a silo pipeline, right? It's less flowable pipeline because each team member has a part of the pipeline and they need to work together to try to put the pipelines together, right? And and try to use the ball to go through the entire pipeline, right? And there are a lot of challenges there because you still have some manual activities, you still have to um, work together without more automation and so forth. So this is the second sprint, right? Create the pipeline here. And in the final stage, basically this is the flow and continuous delivery. As you can see here, after the retrospective in the second sprint and after implementing the approaches, the team take the decision to, for example, in some changes, uh, paste the pipeline, right? Stick the pipeline with maybe with sticky notes or maybe with some glue or whatever, right? They put the pipeline, they work together, they talk each other, they have some strategies about it. For example, here, right, you can see here that they put the sticker before putting the ball in the pipeline. Also, they create only one pipeline, full automated. Some of them work putting part of the pipeline in a different high, right? Sorry about I'm getting laughed because I remember this exercise and it was very funny. It was very insightful for me. So yeah, so you can see here that people is working together and notice that right now that the flow time is just seconds, right? They put the ball in the pipeline and it's quite uh, they have a lot of speed and also a lot of automation, right? And also they combine skills, right? Now you can see here people from business operation and testing working together, no matter the role, working together to deliver the product. Okay. Okay, basically some aha moments about this game. Some I think very interesting information. Feedback loops are key for continuous improvement. I think that is one of the aha moments that we got from the run of this game with different clients. Gamers see how lack of communication leads to delays and misunderstandings, emphasizing the need for better collaboration. That is something key. Gamers identify and eliminate waste. Yes, manual activities, waiting, redundant steps, leading to smoother and faster workflow. Understanding that DevOps is not just a set of practices, but a cultural shift. That is quite important because they notice that if I don't work together with business and testing and operations, this is not going to work. The realization that iterative customer-focused development results in higher quality. Yeah, that is something that they also notice in the game because at the end we have better flow, right? Better flow is more quality for our products. Okay, finally, takeaways, or just to sum up, the game helps to gain a comprehensive understanding of how agile, lean, flow, and DevOps practices interconnect to enhance collaboration, efficiency, and productivity. Gamers learn the importance of breaking down silos, implementing continuous integration and deployment, and leverage iterative development with customer feedback. The game built the first foundation of DevOps culture, providing hands-on experience with practical applications and continuous improvement in a gamified format. This is true. This is what we get from running this game with our clients. I recommend you also between a sprint, maybe you can share some DevOps concept, right? Like feedback loops, like continuous improvement, like integration and so forth. I recommend you especially if you have people that they don't have too much experience with DevOps, right? That is my recommendation. But at the end, they are going to learn these ideas running the game, that is the main purpose. Some books that I recommend you guys: Continuous Delivery book from Jess Humble and Delivery Farley. The Phoenix Project, a great book about a DevOps story in a real business. This book about gamification, we took a lot of ideas from those book and also from this book from gamification, actionable gamification. We took the Octalysis framework, which is a framework to design games. I recommend you to use this book and also the Octalysis framework. And also this awesome book, Game Design Workshops by Tracy Fullerton. I think it's a great book if you want to run games and also design workshops. Finally, again, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate that. Remember that we all have dreams, so help and share more. Remember that sharing is caring. And thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the talk. If you want to learn more about this game, you can find me in LinkedIn, and I will be very happy to help you. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Jorge. Folks, if you do have any questions for Jorge, be sure to click that Q&A tab and drop them in ASAP while we still got him. But yeah, an interesting idea that kind of came to mind when I was listening to this, Jorge, is essentially we're kind of gamifying work, right? And within that, did you find much resistance from like the older generation?
Yes, that is true. That is true. And I don't know if you notice in the videos, but in the videos the team is very mixed, right?
Yeah,
You can see very young people, and also you can see people maybe with more than 40 years, some no,
yeah,
But yes, at the beginning we get some resistance from older people, but something that was very interesting was that the real thing, the real thing in this kind of large enterprises is that those teams, in those teams you can find people in his 20s and also in his 30s, and I think that is the reality, right?
yeah,
um, and I think if you explain what is the purpose of this, right, that you want to they feel comfortable, right, learning new stuff, and also you have the support from the youngers, right? I think it's a good way to help you to run this kind of workshops with a very mixed group, right? With good results. Yeah.
yeah. I guess maybe one way you do it is you kind of incentivize it as part of like the workflow to a certain degree. Like, I'm always reminded of things like Google was a classic one where a lot of the different tools they've created over the years was because they gave one day of work a week where they're like, go off, do your own project. So I guess maybe that's a way that it gets treated is like, you could kind of do the carrot or the stick approach where you're like, look, I could just give you endless sheets to look through for the next day, or come do this team building exercise.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not sure if you also notice in the video, but from the first sprint, if you compare the first sprint, which is all manual, right, without any kind of communication, collaboration, each people from business, people from testing, people from ops, sticking the sticker, right, putting the
Mhm.
sticker on the ball, right. It's all manual, it's all slow, right, and yeah. But if you notice at the end, in the final third sprint, working together, all of them, they create a pipeline, only one pipeline. And I think if I remember, maybe the first flow time in the first sprint was maybe, I don't know, maybe 1 minute, right? 1 minute. Okay. But in the final sprint, you can see a flow time of 1 second or maybe 2 seconds, right? Which is amazing. And that is because collaboration. And I think actually what you mentioned is something that we also share at the end of the session, right? We share.
Yeah.
Imagine that if you can replicate this in your daily work, right? With your software, with your testing, with your development, working closer with the business, with your product owner, right? Working closer with operations, right? Working together. And you can get this kind of improvement, right, in your delivery cycle, and you can have a better developer experience, right? I think that is also key. At least in my experience, something that is quite important when you want to transform a ways of working with DevOps, Agile, Cloud, or whatever, you need to take care of people and take care of the developer experience, right? How all these indicators, tools, trainings, and all the stuff that you want to apply, right? how this is aligned to improve the developer experience, right? In the same way that you take care of customer experience, you should take care of your developer experience, right? How
Mhm.
comfortable are your developers in terms of doing what they are doing, right?
Yeah, no, I see where you come from. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right? Like, you need to essentially give the time, the space for them to actually integrate with that kind of experience. But I think the kind of interesting thing is quite often, time and time again, the nice thing as well about trying to use these systems is because they're, I'd say, becoming a bit more regular, a bit more frequent. You have now got examples to look towards and say, look, this works. Like, in the early days of trying to integrate these type of systems, was that a challenge that you didn't maybe have as many use cases to say, look, there's proof?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I recommend you, in my experience, right? When we work with our clients, right?
Hmm.
Because I work for an IT company, right? Entity Data, which is an IT company, but um, a great support or a great partner when we want to transform the development life cycle, right? Is also people, right? Or human resources. You need to work with them, right? Because these kind of workshops that you can run, right? You need support. You need to work with them, right? In terms of logistics, in terms of agendas, rooms, and so forth. But also, it's a good approach if all your developer experience activities, you can align them to the people plan, right? How people wants to engage talent, how people want to retain talent, and so forth. That is quite important because y- as a developer or as a IT leader, you can do a lot of stuff, right? Um, I recommend you to use gamification if you want to have a good way, a funny way, and maybe more engaged way to sell this kind of new approaches to your team members. And if you can get the support from your local human resources team, it's better, right? Because they know the people much they know the people, yeah, and also they have all the logistic there. So yeah, it's also another recommendation.
I guess the big kind of interest thing is it's very disarming as well, right? Because it's like, you you're talking about serious things at the end, right? Like what it turns into, but you're treating it in what seems like an unserious way. So
Yeah,
it's almost like you are inherently going to get less resistance. There might be the people like, I want to get back to work. This is not serious enough. But outside of that, it's that classic thing of like, the difference between trying to tell someone something has to be a certain way and showing them, or like, I think the classic one is, I had a friend. He really likes his beer, but he likes it to be high percentage alcohol. We gave him an alcohol free beer, and he drank it. He's like,
yeah.
oh, that's really good.
Yeah, yeah, the aha moments. No, oh wow.
Mm.
So wow, if something like I mentioned right in the presentation, the aha moments, right?
Mhm.
I noticed that working closer with business, right? I know what they are doing. I know what they want. And we can work together for the same approach, right? Because at the end, they share the same goal, which is move that ball, the software, the faster as they can in the flow in the flow development cycle, right? With quality, with reliability, and passing all the quality aspects, right? So yeah, I think that is quite important. And maybe I can mention some real nice experience. I remember that after we ran this game with some client, the day after that, in the we noticed that some of the team members from testing, from developer, from operations, and business, they had lunch together. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was awesome, right? Because we
Yeah.
noticed that because we went to a restaurant, and we saw them, right, having lunch together. And that's great because that is part of the not technical end, because yeah, at the end DevOps is technical stuff, right? Continuous integration, continuous deployment, engineering stuff. But as Google said, right, if you don't take care of people first, no matter what you are doing, most probably you're going to fail. Most
Yeah.
probably.
I just like to imagine like 20 years from now, like you have the story of how you brought those two best friends together and they've known each other now for 30 years, something like that. But Jorge, I've only known you 45 minutes, but I can tell you it's been an absolute pleasure. We are coming to the end of the talk, but if anyone wants to reach out to you, you seem like the type of person that not only would like to talk to them, you'd probably like to play a game with them. So,
Absolutely.
folks, if you do want to talk to him, be sure to. But Jorge, the pleasure has been all mine, and hopefully we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.